September 13th, 2023. And the invocation is going to be by Commissioner Perry, and the Pledge of Allegiance is going to be by Tammy Berry after that.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before this time grateful for the blessings that Thou hast bestowed upon us here in Box Elder County and Utah and the United States. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to serve Thee at this time and to take care of the people's business here in Box Elder County. And we ask Thy Spirit to guide and direct us as we do so, that we will to do the things that would be pleasing in Thy eyesight and be beneficial to the citizens of this area and this county. We pray that Thou will bless and watch over those who are ill at this time and in need of special blessings, that Thou can have an influence and be able to bless them in some way. We're grateful for those who service in the military and service as responders throughout the world and throughout our country and our county, and are grateful for their service and ask a protecting hand to be over them as they serve and protect us as citizens. And we ask that Thou will continue to bless us, that we can continue to move forward and do those things which are in the best interest of the people of Box Elder County. And we ask for these favors and blessings and say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you for participating in that.
Thank you.
I hope you all know it's an honor to be able to do those type of things in a public meeting. There's places that don't get to do those things, so thanks for doing that. Approval of minutes, August 2nd, 2023, and August 16th of 2023.
Make 'em-
I've reviewed the minutes and make a motion that we approve the minutes for August 2nd and August 16th, 2023.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye. Former agenda items.
Let's see. Just want to point out, not necessarily form agenda, but we do have the ability for people to speak. We have a new form that's just a paper they need to fill out. It's at the back of the room, and they just bring it up here and put it in the basket if they want to be part of the public comment, so.
Okay. The only other thing I was thinking of was the bathrooms and ticket booths. We've got a pretty firm commitment from Nucor that they're gonna donate the building. So Cody, we can probably get you together with them and see what we can do to make that happen, so, okay? Have you guys got anything else? We're gonna put on the agenda next week, we've gotta move a couple of dates around for commission. First one in October, me and Commissioner Perry will be someplace. He's gonna be in a lot funner place than me. So, you wanna do it alone?
And I'll just be working, so. yeah.
Okay. And
So we will
then,
not have a commission meeting on October
we will
4th.
not have a commission meeting. And then the one in November falls on when we go down to UAC, so we'll have to change that one too, so,
And we'll make those changes
Next-
next week.
next
when we have our
commission.
commission meeting next week, right?
yep.
And then, one of the things, just to make you all aware, we doing for our Employee of the Month program that we're doing. Normally, we want to try to take them to dinner or lunch to recognize these employees of the month, but it doesn't always work out because sometimes our schedules don't work with theirs. So what I've proposed is, if we can't coordinate schedules within a month of when they get the award, that all they need to do is contact us, and we will go and we'll have one of us or somebody go get them lunch and bring lunch to them, rather than taking them out and try to coordinate schedules. So just be aware of that.
Sounds good. Emergency management issues, we got any fires going on, Kev? With all the lightning, nothing? Yeah, it said water's an issue, apparently, what Aaron said, so luckily, I hate to say it's out west, but we just keep filling in holes, and Nate keeps washing them out, keep filling up holes, so. I don't think we have anything on ARPA or LAPTCDEFGHI fund, okay? And I am going to take a personal privilege, sorry, I'm gonna have to put sharp in front of you, is that okay? Amy, is that all right? Okay. If somebody wants to come up and just, well, where's the resolution? Does somebody want to read the resolution?
So You're moving, you want to just change our agenda and
Yeah.
move item,
531 to now.
the one that's at 531 is Part 10, Section E.
Yep.
You want to read this, or what do you want to do?
I don't want to read it. You want to read it?
I can read it, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the commission is doing resolution number 2311. It's a resolution of Box Elder County Commission recognizing the Sharp family and their locally owned businesses, Sharp Transportation and Sharp Powder Coat, for their years of philanthropic efforts supporting our country's military, veterans, and their families as we celebrate National POW and MIA Recognition Day on September 15th of 2023. Whereas Sharp Trucking was founded by John T. Sharp in northern Utah in 1970, and Zan Sharp, John's son, purchased the company and incorporated Sharp Transportation in 1990. And whereas Zan Sharp and his wife Vivian started Sharp Powder Coat based in Brigham City in 2002. And whereas the Sharps have owned and operated Sharp Transportation and Sharp Powder Coat in Box Elder County and other locations throughout Utah and the U.S. for over 30 years, employing over 250 people. And whereas Wreaths Across America, a nonprofit organization, is dedicated to ensuring we remember our fallen U.S. veterans, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. And whereas The Walls That Hills, a nonprofit organization, brings The Wall, a replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., to communities throughout the country to allow the souls enshrined on the memorial to exist once more among family and friends, while serving a reminder and an education to all of the sacrifices made by those who have served. And whereas the Sharp family and businesses have shown their constant honor for our nation's frontline protectors and their families over the years through significant support, both financially and of in-kind donations of labor and use of their trucks and trailers to both the Wall That Hills and Wreaths Across America nonprofit organizations. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the county legislative body of Box Elder County, state of Utah, with 3 members present, and the 3 members will be voting here in just a minute, that the Commission of Box Elder County official proclamation that their gratitude and wishes to recognize the Sharp family, Sharp Transportation, and Sharp Powder Coating for their contribution to Box Elder County by the success of their local family-owned business and their outstanding philanthropic support of our county's military veterans and their families, dated the 13th day of September 2023. And I would make a motion that we adopt resolution number 23-11.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Okay, would you guys want to come up and take a picture with us up here too, please? Just come up here and behind on this side. You hand one over to them.
Yep.
Come on, come up around here. We look better when we have side.
I only need one copy, so.
No, we're good. Which one is it?
Do you want me to sign it for Martha?
That way it's official.
You want her in front?
It's okay, we'll just wait for Commissioner Perry to squeeze in while you're.
Okay.
There you go.
Get cozy.
Yes, so kind of turn right and then so from. There you go.
I think we're good.
I think you're good.
So yes, so.
Get up here and turn that way.
Kind of learn.
There we go.
Seems like a major event here.
That works, yes, that works perfectly. 3, 2.
Okay, thanks you guys. Thank you. That's awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, will you follow up with Sean on my question? We never got to talk about that. Okay.
You know what, we did, in the resolution, I just would like to point out, one of the folks here is actually related to also a former Box Elder County resident, Abraham Hunsaker, who's in the Champaign photograph. So we have a relative of Abraham Hunsaker in the group here from Sharp as well, so.
That's
I
awesome.
want to point that out.
That means you're related to everybody in Box Elder County,
Most particularly in Honeyville.
particularly in Honeyville. Yep, thank you. Okay, Tammy, if you want to come up, you're next.
Good afternoon. I'm Tammy Berry, Rodeo Queen and Pageant Director for the Miss Wilderness Circuit. For 6 years now, we have held our pageant at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds. We've always paid in full for the facility and provided insurance, but as expenses have increased, we are asking for a partial waiver of the fee for the Home Arts Building. We have scheduled it for Friday, September 15th, and also for Saturday, September 16th. Friday is a big setup day for us. We set up a stage, set up tables and chairs for about 110 spectators. We decorate with a theme in mind. This year, the theme is Miss Wilderness Circuit Loves Rodeo. We can stretch our budget to pay for one of the days of the Home Arts Building, the museum building, and the indoor arena. However, our budget will not allow to pay for the setup day, which is this Friday. Therefore, we are asking for a waiver of the $400 fee on Friday. In case you're not familiar with the professional rodeo circuits, I would like to tell you a little bit about them. The circuits were adopted so that cowboys and cowgirls who rodeoed professionally but not full-time were able to compete on weekends. These weekend warriors, as they were called, wanted to have a rodeo finals to showcase their talents and be rewarded monetarily for their efforts. So basically, if the rodeo contestant had a regular job during the weekdays, they could go rodeo on the weekends and then be able to compete in their circuit finals at the end of the year. Then the top two of the contestants in each event at the individual circuit finals were invited to compete in a national circuit finals rodeo. This is like the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo for the Weekend Warriors. Currently, the Ram National Circuit Finals is held in Colorado Springs in conjunction with the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo. There are 12 circuits within the United States. The Wilderness Circuit takes in Utah, Nevada, and all of Idaho except for the Panhandle. The Idaho Panhandle is included in the Columbia River Circuit, which takes in Washington and Oregon. Our Miss Wilderness Circuit travels all over representing the Wilderness Circuit. Last year, our rodeo queen traveled to Pennsylvania for the First Frontier Circuit Rodeo, to Reno for the prestigious Reno Rodeo, to Colorado Springs for the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame and the Ram National Circuit Finals, as well as many other rodeos in Utah, Nevada, and Idaho. You may remember our Miss Wilderness Circuit who rode the Big Clydesdale on Saturday night of our rodeo. Yep, our Wilderness Circuit is the real deal. McCarty also competed in the Miss Rodeo Utah contest in July and won it. She will take the reins in January as Miss Rodeo Utah, and we expect her to do really well at Miss Rodeo America. We feel our Miss Wilderness Circuit pageant prepares these great cowgirls to conquer their rodeo queen goals. Many, like McCarty, have gone on to become Miss Rodeo Utahs and have also taken home the crown of Miss Rodeo America. The travel experience, the connections, and the rapport made with the fans, sponsors, and PRCA contestants give these women a stirrup up in helping them achieve their goals. I would sincerely appreciate your consideration of waiving the $400 fee for our Miss Wilderness Circuit pageant for this Friday, and I also invite you to join us at our horsemanship competition at the large indoor arena that evening, this Friday at 6:30. There are 2 rounds of horsemanship. They include a reining pattern and a freestyle costume round that is done to music. It's a great time and a crowd favorite. We hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I asked your queen when we was out there warming up for the rodeo how she got on that horse.
And what did she tell you?
A ladder.
I believe that.
Big horse.
He was big and he was only a 4-year-old, so
Wow.
he's going to fill out.
Well, I appreciate you bringing this, Tammy, and to us, and I understand that things are tight, and I don't have a problem, especially for a county employee and stuff when you're doing this stuff for other people, and you bring in, like you said, 110 people will be here that night, and still they're from all over. So I think it's a great event, and a great way to show off. So if you guys got any questions, because I'd entertain a motion. If not,
I'll make a motion to approve the request to bypass Friday, right? Friday's fee for this queen contest.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham and a second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
text me Friday and remind me, okay?
Will do.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Tammy.
Can we put
Appreciate
him
it.
on the horse? That way-
No, no, no.
If we
You haven't
could
got
do
a big
that, that
enough,
would
you ain't
really-
got a big enough horse.
You might need a bigger ladder.
Yes, and a bigger horse. Okay, Chad, Cranny, come on up.
There's a PowerPoint in here?
Yeah, do you wanna just arrow down, it's inserted.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Found it.
I can't read that
Now I
fast.
gotta figure out how to, so is it just next, yep, okay, we're good. So
There
you
we
just
go.
tell me when you wanna go slide to slide and I'll make it.
Yeah, that'll work. Good evening, Commissioners. Thanks for allowing me some time to talk about this land acquisition by the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. For those of you that don't know, we are required to give some public notice whenever we're looking to purchase property that's held in private ownership.
Chad, give me
We
your
do that in
name.
a number of different ways.
I need your name, though, for the record. Just tell me who you are.
Sorry, my name's Chad Cranny
There you
with
go.
the Utah Division of Wildlife.
Thank you.
So we do have to give public notice, and one of the ways we do that is through coming to the county commission where that property is located and presenting this. Just a little background on some of these waterfowl management areas. The Division of Wildlife owns and manages 9 of these areas around the Great Salt Lake, 3 of which are here in Box Elder County. There's Salt Creek, Locomotive Springs, and Public Shooting Grounds. The primary goals of these areas is to provide wildlife recreation opportunities to the public, and then protect and enhance waterfowl, upland game, and other wetland-dependent species and their habitats. Go ahead. So this property acquisition is directly adjacent to the Salt Creek Waterfowl Management Area. The current boundary of Salt Creek is shown there in the orange. The proposed land acquisition is shown there in green. This new land acquisition will give us another 700 acres. Currently, half of those 700 acres are upland farm ground. The other half of those 700 acres are various types of wetland habitat. So there's already a lot of nice habitat out there for wildlife, and we can immediately provide some wildlife recreation opportunities there. Go ahead.
So do you fence that at all, or what do you do?
A lot of it's fenced already because they do run cattle on that property. So the majority of it is already fenced.
But it's not gonna be fenced off from your other ones, right?
No, it's not fenced off to the state property. So the goals of this acquisition is, of course, to acquire the property to protect and enhance wildlife habitat, provide wildlife recreation opportunities. One other goal for this current acquisition is there is a grazing lease on that property right now. That lease does state that if the property is sold, it is null and void. But we would like to work with that leasee in order for them to continue their current grazing operation until the summer of 2025. That'll give them just some time to figure some other things out, and also give us some time to kind of assess their grazing operation, where we might be able to fit some of that into what we're trying to do out there,
I'd hope you do that. I think that would be smart in that area.
for sure. We do actually have some grazing on public shooting grounds in Salt Creek already. It's fairly minimal, but it does help us, and obviously it helps that leasee out as well. Finally, we needed to develop a habitat management plan for this piece of property according to state code. That's all I have, short and sweet. We are asking for a letter of recommendation from the county, if you would like to provide one, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
So what is your management plan according to the state code?
To protect and enhance wildlife populations, wildlife habitat, and allow
access.
public recreation opportunities
Access.
on those properties.
I thought that's what my cornfield was for.
Really?
I
I didn't know that.
Turkeys
Send me
and
an
the
address.
deer and,
Oh, I know.
yeah, you can't keep them out.
Depredation.
Yeah, depredation. I don't handle depredation, but
But he'll put a good word in for you.
yeah.
I don't have any more comments. I just, no, you got a willing seller, a willing buyer.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
yeah, we're good.
Cool.
I'd make a motion that we give a letter of support for land acquisition adjacent to Salt Creek Wildlife Management.
Second?
I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up. Safe drive back to, oh,
I work up here.
up to Tremont.
Yeah.
You need that letter?
Chad, do you need?
Have it?
Yeah, we just signed.
Fine, I just need to get a copy made, but if we can go have a copy made, then you'll have it.
Hi, Charlene.
Hello,
You came up without being called. Thank you.
I'm watching the yellow. Hopefully I come at the right time.
You did. Thank you.
Charlene Larson, County Auditor. We have a fleet lease agreement that I spoke about in the beginning session. That's a 5-year lease, and because of the amount involved, they do require a resolution by the county commission in order to do the lease. It has been reviewed by Attorney Hadfield, and he did have a couple of questions regarding who can drive them and if USIP counts as an insurance carrier per the lease, and I have not heard back from the company yet. So,
We'll pass it pending.
yeah, so if we could
The
do
only other
something
question I have
pending.
is that we can't encumber another commission too. So if it's a 5-year lease and all of us are gone, so this might have to come up before another commission before, because we can't encumber another commission, so.
Well, there's a provision in there that says if the budget isn't granted in any year, it's canceled automatically.
Yeah, it's a pretty flexible lease
Okay.
agreement as far as getting out of it.
All right, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2310 for the multi-year fleet agreement proposal or lease.
Second it?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are we talking about this one, Shirley? Okay, so you want to,
There's also a terms paper they require the commission
the
chair
term.
to sign that's
Okay.
related to that same lease.
Got it. While we're signing that, just as a reminder, if anybody wants to make public comment, the forms are at the back of the room and they need to put them in the box here. We'll get to that.
Sterling, I think you're up. You're not paying attention like Shireen. Just kidding.
Lane's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Sterling Marks, the director of the Box Elder Children's Justice Center. And I'm just here to talk about, with state funds, wanted to increase the contract amount for my contracted therapy.
Okay.
Therapy, I'm in mental health, is hard to come by, and good mental health is even harder. So I want to retain the ones that I have, and felt like giving them a little bit more was a way to help with that. So I asked them in contract to see kids within 2 weeks, and so they're putting other clients kind of back, and so I think it's
Okay.
fair.
I think it's a good
These
thing.
folks are all private that you're working with? I mean, the private providers, right?
Yeah.
They're not connected like Bear Mental Health or anything like that,
No.
right? Okay.
I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt contract 2377.
So I was just wondering about funding. You've had the funding all in place?
Yeah, it's state funding.
Okay.
Yep.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Sterling.
I noticed this today when I was looking over it. So I made a slight adjustment just because it shows. So previously, when I was on VOCA, I was only allowed 12 sessions that I could cover, and the state budget allows me to do up to 25.
Oh.
So I just made that correction here.
Is it in there?
So I'll hand this one to you.
okay, do you want him to sign that one instead?
Yeah, it just shows the 25 sessions. So
So,
that's
So
it.
let's have them sign the copy that has
Yeah.
25.
Unless it's the same as this one, then I can just check.
It's the same. I'll just give you that page if you
Okay.
want.
All
Okay,
right.
thanks, Sterling.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all your work. Sean Mill, come on down. He's gonna. Oh, good.
Well, good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to come in front of you tonight. Well, that's not what's supposed to be up there.
didn't
I
see
see
it.
something very different, and that's what you're supposed to see.
Is that a picture of your chickens?
Well, that's cool.
Only took you 1 minute to black us out. What the heck?
Screen, I bet you.
Yeah. Now, if I can just remember.
I bet you got a 2-screen system you're set up on, so you're on a split screen right now.
Well, I'm on a Mac too, so it's a superior product, and now it's trying to interface with Microsoft. That was supposed to make me feel better, but ironically, it didn't.
They always used to say it's a nut behind the wheel.
Is that what
Well,
it says?
it's a good thing that I'm not being given a performance evaluation by one of my state bosses here in the audience tonight. That's good. Tell you what, I do have it in a thumb drive. Let's see if we can load that.
You can try. Put that in first.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
how about those beach days? Said there's 60,000 people there.
I will use this opportunity to thank Chrissy, Attorney Hadfield and Ann. Cody answered some questions, and Tammy helped me with the agenda. Just a lot of great people here, and I appreciate them all. So.
So I'm supposed to format this drive before I can use it.
Oh, right, because it's a Mac product.
I guess you're just going to tell us.
Don't do that.
Can't be done.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to ask that you use your imagination. We're going to go back to elementary school, commissioners.
Okay. I'm there.
I had a real quick comeback, but this is a public meeting, so.
Yes.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you for, again, the opportunity. This is an annual process in accordance with state legislation that enables a couple of grant funding opportunities specifically tailored to economic development. A few years ago, Representative Carl Albrecht and Senator Scott Sandel, one of our own up here, created a bill named SB 95, Senate Bill 95. And it was intended to help facilitate economic development within rural communities, being that the perception that I'm not here to opine on, but the perception being that economic development up to that point had largely been concentrated in Utah, Salt Lake, Weber Davis counties, and sometimes Washington County, where St. George is. So as long as these funds are deployed for the purposes of broad economic development purposes, you have a lot of flexibility, and it's intentional that way, that by county, you can deploy these funds for whatever you deem to be the most appropriate and unique to your community needs. And that was part of the intention of those legislators. Well, as part of that, and it's been renamed, so I'm here tonight to talk about one of two major grant functions that are on this annual cycle, and it's now called the Rural County Grant. And it's part of how I have been funded for this last year, that you have worked with other BRAG or Bear River Association of Government entities, namely Cache County and Rich County, to fund the position that I fulfill for you for economic development efforts. Before I go any further, I do want to acknowledge someone in the audience. I'd be remiss if I didn't. Sherry Stevens is here. Gentlemen, I think you may already be familiar with her. She's from the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity. Sometimes you'll hear me say "Go Ed," and that's because I'm slipping into the old school economic development instead of economic opportunity, but it's one and the same. And so Sherry is who I interface with there at GoEO the most. Just want to acknowledge her. So as part of this annual structure, you need to have what's called the CEO Advisory Board. And CEO stands for County Economic Opportunity Advisory Board. And you gentlemen, as the local legislative body, get to appoint those members, and those members convene periodically to make sure, A, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm accountable to them as much as I am you, and they will make recommendations. Tonight, specifically, I'm here to pass along that advisory board's recommendations to you on how to deploy the potential of up to $200,000 in an annual fiscal year annual grant. Let me just make sure here as I'm going through these slides that only I can see, apparently. I mentioned how last year you got together with Cash and Rich and decided to move me from the previous Soul County that I'd been working for, now under the Bragg scenario. I do have only a title that government could come up with, and that is the Director of Economic Development, Quality Growth, and Intergovernmental Affairs, and other duties as assigned by Stan Summers. So I will help in a traditional economic development route, and what that means for the benefit of other department heads, the audience, or the record, as well as if you're wondering what that means. Typically, you'll get a project code name through EDC Utah, Economic Development Corporation of Utah. There may be a Fortune 5000 company who, for good reason, wouldn't necessarily want their closest competitors to know that they're interested in expanding or moving operations for certain strategic advantages. They'll reach out to a state agency like GOEO or EDC Utah. EDC Utah is a quasi-governmental entity that can facilitate these kind of requests, and they'll assign it a project name so that competitors aren't likely to figure it out. They put that out to investors like yourself, meaning that Box Elder County pays a membership due to get these RFIs or requests for information. Those companies will ask a litany of questions that qualify what it is they're looking for. It may be rail access so many miles away from a major interstate freeway system's closest exit. It may be certain target demographics of a workforce. It may be certain tax incentives that may exist. They may also tell us how many gallons of culinary grade water they need per day, how many trucks they're going to run on the road, how many cubic feet of natural gas that they're going to need for their operations, et cetera, and so forth. And a guy like me on your behalf will get that information and work with commercial brokers and folks like yourself to determine whether or not you're interested in such an employer and then respond back. And as that process goes through, up until either the time that they announce they're going to come to our lovely community or say, well, thank you, you made it onto the short list, but you're not going to go any further, I help coax them along the way. In busy times like we've had for the last 3 years, where we've been so shy of workforce, the county here is at an incredibly low, less than 3% unemployment rate. That's hard for employers that are currently here to find good qualified applicants. And so sometimes, and typically in my role, I'd for a third to half the time be doing outward recruitment. I'd be doing cold calling sales, so to speak, for industries that you would identify that you want closer to home inside of your community. But these days, that would be political suicide for you and very challenging for our business. So anyway, that's kind of the traditional aspect that I would do under Bragg. Trying to move quickly along. The Economic Development Advisory Board makes the following 8 recommendations. The last few kind of differ with some flexibility for you to consider. 1 is the allocation to Bragg. 2 is a cooperative entrepreneurship and innovation campus. 3, inland port logistics analysis and marketing campaign. 4, workforce skills, training scholarships. 5, Washakie repurpose. 6, rural community SWOT, or SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Arts and culture impact study, business assistant grants. And I have slides here for each one of those that I'll just gloss over. But the Bragg allocation last year was $70,000 as part of this county's allocation to the shared departmental costs under Bragg. It is suggested to just make the exact same, no inflationary adjustment upwards or anything different there. The next one is something that Commissioner Summers, I can't remember if it was casually before the meeting started tonight as we were talking with our guests or if it was part of this meeting already, but he had alluded to the old Lazy Boy factory and some could be free or low cost to us for these kind of purposes to do some business coaching and mentorship together with Bridgeland Technical College, who does this at what's called their West Campus in Logan, but here in the Tremont and Garland area. Commissioner, I would defer to you if you want to add anything to that.
And then plus the SBDC.
And other partners like the chamber, giving them a satellite office and so forth. Approximately $50,000 towards that. Next one, as you 3 commissioners know, you have a newly adopted Utah Inland Port Authority project area called the Golden Spike Project Area. The next steps, now that those areas have been designated, is what kind of active recruitment may there be, or other kind of matching grants with landowners to say, like a typical switch. So for as much has been made in the rumor mill of Facebook land on what an inland port is or isn't and what it's being sold as here in Utah, as part of the vision these days, is, as again, you well know, and I'm saying it mostly for the record, it could be as little as just an extra spur parallel to an active track to make sure that industrial zoned or light manufacturing zoned property could have something intermodal or get their costs for logistics.
Let me interject this too, because I was talking to Commissioner Bingham before that. If we can use that for education purposes,
Yep.
I actually think that would be a good thing to be able to go out and through the area and educate people on the actual real things that this will happen, and not, like you said, the Facebook reality of things. So
This is what I typed, so I love that you and I are on the same page, Commissioner. It means I'm doing my job fairly well. To use established momentum in the logistics analysis and education campaign to describe what an inland port is versus what they are not. Listening sessions with stakeholders, meaning cities or other industries like perhaps ag. Once compiled, updating general plans to reflect that this is an available zone, and employ a targeted marketing campaign. This is suggested to not exceed 10,000. The next one was workforce skills training scholarships. This is thought of as you have a number of those employers that are having a hard time finding qualified workers. And a lot of employers are resorting to hiring people that are not yet qualified for the jobs that they actually need them to fill. And they're taking on the burden of upskilling them, educating them, if you will, through partners like the SBDC, USU, the regional campus, Bridgerland, and so forth. Maybe having a matching grant system so it suggests, rather than paying dollar for dollar just straight out of the employer, saying, hey, rather than you being tempted to be wooed away to another state that currently has 5% unemployment, as some realistically are, what if we help you find the workforce that, while it doesn't make up for our incredibly low unemployment rate, will at least help you take some of the burden of the next 10 weeks of them getting skilled certifications. So it envisions that kind of a workforce training.
So what are you offering? You're talking welding? What else are you talking?
everything,
Commissioner?
everything that has to do with
It could be a
Bridgerland Tech,
CDL.
yeah.
It could be,
could be a CDL, could be any of that kind of stuff. They're looking for electronic technicians, all that kind of stuff. I honestly think that's one of the biggest thing that the people are looking for as employers, is going into high schools as soon as they're being a sophomore and saying, hey, if these people are looking for that, we'd be interested in helping you get your certificate. And here's how we're going to help you do that. So this would be one of those things.
and Bridgerland has a really great program to that extent, but we're talking about, juniors and seniors in high
Firefighters,
school.
deputies, the list goes on and on and on.
The one-armed robot technicians.
Yeah.
And there's the difference between an actual technician when it's down and what it takes to get it back online, and an operator who might actually be responsible for 3 different production lines.
Yep.
Autoleave uses a lot of those, and I forget what Matt Fulmer with Bridgerland has renamed that department, but it's like, instead of industrial hygiene or manufacturing, it's,
Something.
I don't know, it's something that doesn't say one-armed robot, but it's learning how to code one-armed robots and all that sort of stuff.
And you'll come
again,
back later and give us names that we need to oppress for that, right?
Yeah, that'd be a separate meeting, Commissioner. Thank you. Rural community SWOT analysis. There's a program through USU called the Western Rural Development Center that helps to look at a matrix of like what a community is good at. It might be a resource that's unique because they have a freeway running through it. It may be that they have rail serve. It may be that they have large ag production. It may be that they've already got an industrial manufacturing cluster. What they're good at versus what they're not, and then what they want to be when they grow up, and what they want to shift their economy towards versus what they don't. And then finding that sweet spot in the quadrant that says, hey, where you're already good and have qualified talent or unique resources, and this is what you want as political or community leaders to be known for as a business cluster, this is the kind of targeted recruitment.
Will you send these out to us?
Yeah.
And then go from there? And then the next
Okay.
one is,
Arts and culture impact study,
Yep.
small business grants.
okay,
Total 200,000 not to exceed, but the list that I just gave you and the recommended dollar amounts with each of these commissioners does not actually go up to 200,000, so you have some discretionary. that in this math here would leave you 20+ thousand, that if you wanted to go up to and not to exceed the 20,000 that I can apply for by October 1st's deadline. If there's another program that you have heard or would like me to work with another possible stakeholder,
Part B.
I could do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it, since you can't see the slide deck. But I need to apply for that by October 1st. And I'll pass this out to Christy so she can forward it on to you.
Okay.
And then go from there.
You guys got any questions?
Nope, I
Thank you,
asked.
Commissioner.
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Sean. That was great. Sorry your thing didn't work. How it goes. What's that?
Just giving him bad time, welcome.
Oh. Next one is for me. Policy changes, box other count. Oh,
Actually, isn't.
oh, nope. Yeah, the release. It's Lee. Sorry. Had
Okay.
it crossed off already.
Yeah, just, so, for commissioners' purposes, we had an incident occur where we damaged a building next to our DMV building. It's gone on for quite some time. We've been back and forth. I went and met with the individual owner, Mr. Harding, and we discussed it, and he's willing to just take a settlement from the county for $1,000 to take care of any, basically alleviate us of any liability on the building at this point, is what the agreement is stating that we want to put forward here. For what happened is there was snow removal during January, February. It got clear over onto the sidewalk next to his building. They went back to move it and caught the corner of his building with one of the pieces of equipment and damaged a slight corner of his building. He thinks he can probably take care of it at this point through other means that he needs to take care of it through. And so this is probably the best way for him, after talking with him, to resolve this incident would be to issue him a check for $1,000 for the damages that we did to his building and the things that have occurred there at this point. So,
Well, and to give us a break, that it was kind of a miscommunications and busy times, so I appreciate the way you've been able to work with him and get this thing done, but prior to that, it was just a miscommunication with everybody being so freaking busy after winter and spring and floods and everything else, so I'm glad he was able to resolute this way.
yeah. So anyway, so I'd make a motion, we adopt release agreement 2378 with Ernie's Heating and Air Conditioning, and also with Ernie Harding, who is the owner of Ernie's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Second?
Would give it $1,000 to take care of that. So
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham, all in favor?
Aye.
and we'll have to take care of this as far as the signing in front of a notary
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So.
Will you call me, Tammy, when somebody's in? And then I'll try to run down. Okay, policy changes just to the Facilities Management Department. We've been working on this for a couple years. And all it is just basically saying we've got one guy that can go to the landfill, the road department, and to the fairgrounds. He will still be encumbered to be able to order through the facilities people. And if he's not busy, go directly to the facilities manager, so.
So is there a problem? Why are we changing this?
Yeah, there's been a problem.
What's the problem?
They haven't been getting taken care of on a timely manner.
So, I mean, is my experience with policy changes, you change the policy, nobody reads them anyway? Is there not another option to solve the problem?
I think that's why the policy's being changed.
And I got a question on the policy. I noticed in here, we've got the road department superintendent will supervise the facility maintenance employee and budget for the following. So are we taking the budget, that part of the budgeting for those facilities away from
Those three?
the facility, or how, I mean, because that could create a problem.
Well, and
especially when it comes to ordering things. I mean, that creates. a
well,
big-
like I said, I still think that it says in the policy that they'll still adapt to the ordering and such through that also. But we can go back into, I mean, I don't know if you want specific. That's why I called you yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I could give you an example, when I was first mayor, we had a situation arise and people were talking policy and everybody had an opinion of the policy and nobody had read the policy. And so we had to dig into policies, and in the book, there was 3 different policies pertaining to the very same thing. And everybody had a different opinion about the policy, and I'm wondering if training might be a better option. That kind of bothers me that we're dividing assignments, and that seems confusing to me, rather than,
We tried to do this, how long ago, Jenica? Last fall. So, and it just came again, so,
So the previous commission tried to pass something similar and it didn't pass then, or what happened?
I think it just got dropped through the holes because everybody was so busy again.
I would really like to find out what the problem really is and sit down and have a conversation before changing a policy.
Okay, if you'd like to take care of that, I think you're over facilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So between the two of you, get it taken care of and make sure nothing's dropping through the holes again. Because like I said, I don't want to get into it, but
Well, maybe this is,
mistakes lose money, and there's been certain circumstances that should have been done, haven't been done, things that have been not done and checked off, and so I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't needing to be done, so.
well, I'd like to at least, are you
That's
okay
fine.
with that, Lee? You're,
I do want to look at the one line about the budget. I want to work with maybe figure out, make sure we're not doing something in the policy that backfires on us, because I want to make sure we're ordering and doing the things that are the most economical for the county.
Well, and it says that it won't mess with the ordering
Yeah.
in the policy. It says that
I
they will still
understand that, but I
order.
also have dealt with legislatively, and again, it's back to our Commissioner Bingham's point is, we write a policy, I guarantee if somebody can find a loophole around a policy, they will, and that's what I want to try and prevent, is somebody says, well, the budget says I can do this, so I just want to make sure that we've got it covered, crossed our T's, dotted our I's. I
If
think we
you'd
can,
like to
in the next couple weeks,
table it,
kind of figure it out, but
I'd entertain a motion to table.
I make a motion that we table that till we can have further study.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Okay, it's not Scott, it's Marcus. Come on up, buddy. Whichever one you start with.
Looks like 585 is the one that's on the schedule first.
Let's start with that one then. So this is ordinance 585 coming before you today. This is for a rezone at 4815 North Highway 38 in the Harper Ward area. The applicant is asking for this. They did have a public hearing on August 17th of this year at the Planning Commission, and at that public hearing, there was one neighbor who spoke and really just had questions on annexation things. And then at the end of his statement, said that he didn't care if people divided their land. And then the property owner spoke as well in favor of this, so no other comments were taken at that point. The Planning Commission did find and determined that the proposed rezone and amendment to the zoning map is in conformity with the general plan of Box Elder County, that the uses allowed by the proposed change is harmonious with the overall character of the existing development in the vicinity of the property, and that it will not adversely affect adjacent properties, and that the facilities and services intended to serve the property to be rezoned are adequate and will provide for the health, safety, and general welfare of the public and protect the environment. At this point, if this commission does choose to approve it, you would be making the same findings as the Planning Commission.
Okay. You guys got any questions?
So where is this exactly?
4815 North Highway 38, approximately. It's kind of by the pond,
backyard.
just north
Oh.
of the pond,
In Harper Ward?
on the west side of Highway 38.
Oh,
I'd make a motion to adopt zoning map amendment ordinance number 585.
second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the next one is the Stokes West subdivision. It's creating a new Lot 4 and then amending Lot 2. And this is located on 8800 North. That's the public road there that's there. And this new lot is 7477 West. Pretty basic. It's been through the whole review process, and All the departments recommend approval on this one. Nothing else going on.
I'd entertain a motion on that unless you guys got questions.
I'll make a motion to adopt the Stokes West subdivision amendment as amended.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Do you guys want to sign that now?
Yeah, I can sign that now. I should have stood up there.
You don't have, I don't think, you have to have a notary on this one, or just can, okay. Here, now that you start signing this while he's doing his thing. Find all the green spots, there's 4 of them that I found.
She usually does. Just right next to his. Wherever she can. Usually down further, yeah.
Chrissy, will you leave your office open when we're done? I can grab other stuff.
That's it from us.
Thanks.
Cody, come on down.
Cody Elam, I'm facility manager. I'm here to, we've had a bid for a fence project that's located at the jail, Little Mountain Landfill, and the Elwood Road Shed. These are all 3 separate projects, but we rolled them all together because they're all fences and they are all like to get a low bid. The low bid come in at, for MSCI at 1.6 to do the project. These are originally funded by CIP last year. Shirlene's here because it did come in over budget. And so we need to just have a discussion about how to pay for the remaining balance. There's some shortage on the, well, I don't know, did you want to talk to him about what needs to happen, or do you guys want to see the numbers individually?
I seen them.
Have you?
Yeah. So the landfill will take care of themselves.
Landfill can take care of themselves. I'm thinking road department probably can with their Class B road monies and the extra transportation tax, if that's how they want to use those funds.
Sure.
The biggest concern is the difference in the public safety fencing project, as that would have to come from a CIP funding source,
Sure.
which we didn't budget for. And so we would need to amend the budget and have a public hearing as part of that process if you decide to go forward with that project.
And if we don't take any of that out of that other part and move it around, how much are we actually gonna have to have?
We did receive 40,000 from the mineral lease, so to right around 400,000 that we'll need to
finish off?
Yeah, to finish that, yeah, the jail. And what the jail does is they're doing a whole perimeter fencing to keep it secure, and they're doing some parking lot and elevation adjustment so that their parking lot can be better utilized for staff, because they're running out of parking. And this we're tearing out some cement sidewalks or curb and grass so they can park.
Do you see that? I don't see that being a problem coming out of CIP.
Yeah, we just have to do it as part of a
Right.
budget amendment, and so it will have to wait until our next meeting in October, because I have to have it in the paper a week in advance, so,
Okay.
and we're cutting it
So we've
too
been
close
talking.
to the next
We've
meeting,
been talking about
probably.
these for how long?
Yeah, these were approved last year. We just, with getting things out to bid, and we actually had the bid the middle of August, and we didn't they extended the bid, or we would have been in August to ask for this.
I've been talking about Darren's since Darren wasn't Darren, so.
I just want to make sure Darren's all right with that expenditure.
Darren? That's what I was saying.
This year, because snow removal, we don't have it.
Yeah, they don't have it. The only other thing that's gonna happen, Darren, is that we're gonna get the extra funds, that'll come in this year. You'll get the other, what'd I tell you? 1.3 plus another 1.7 one time. I think it's almost $4 million.
Yeah, that would make it possible for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but then that'll cut back on your drainage that we've kind of planned on trying to help with the drainage parts.
Which is a huge, huge challenge for us.
Every time we turn around, it's a huge, huge problem, so.
Which he put in his capital projects, and I will be discussing capital projects next meeting.
Right.
That was the number one rated project to complete. was
Drainage.
The drainage.
Yeah.
so.
That's the only other thing I'm thinking of.
What's the breakdown of the three? Just so I have them here. What's the cost of the three individualized?
The public safety is 1.1. Little Mountain is 164,000, and Elwood Road is 335,000. So they've got gates. They're trying to secure the front of that road shed, and they have some pretty big gates that have to swing up. So they're very costly, and we're also going to put those on the PDK system, so there'll be access through IDs when they come in. They can just hit them and it'll open. During business hours, it'll be open, but at night, it'll be secure. So that's the objective of why they wanted to do this.
Okay.
And like I said, this is one of those things that has been going on since Bill was there, that I wanted to get that Elwood thing taken care of with security, so. Yeah, I don't know, D, with another 3 million coming in and the 300,000. Is there any reason why these guys can't dig the holes? And
We just put it all out to bid. We'd have to sit down with the contractor. It's just they're doing the whole
because that's what our
project.
plan was before originally, was just these guys put in the main post and then contractors come in and put up the fence.
Yeah, with these are pretty heavy duty fence and gates, so I don't know if they'll guarantee. I mean, they can do some cost savings, but I don't know if the long run. I mean, they're more than capable of doing that, so I just don't know if that's going to be,
Okay.
Also, was there some discussion in the past about having road department help with the public safety leveling, or?
We were talking about that before.
I don't know if that's even a possibility either.
Well, it
so.
sounds like the people that are gonna do that, then they won't guarantee it and everything else too, or?
It's just when we put out the bid and hire a contractor, they perform the services, so.
But did we offer when you put it out to bid, did you ask the contractors, hey, could we do this with our county roads guys? Could they drill the holes?
Bring in the fill.
Did we do that during the bid process?
We've done that in the past, and sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it happens, because
Right.
sometimes you had things that come up and it messes with their schedule. So with this project, I didn't. I just put it out to bid with, these are what we want, and this is what they brought back to us.
And then what happened 2 years ago? What happened to it 2 years ago? When we tried to put it out? The other bids for everything else?
I'm not sure what happened last,
Okay.
so. Yeah, COVID, it could have been.
Okay, I think it's a needful thing. Like I said, it should have been done a long time ago to secure the facilities, especially when we got that much money at the road equipment and other areas, so. I honestly think that instead of trying to encumber Darren's budget, we should use some LAPTC funds to wrap that up,
That is something we could possibly do, yeah.
so.
The roads. The 1.1 million for the public safety is gonna be our big task. How much did you give in, did CIP give money to the public safety last year?
Like, it was
670.
670, yeah, 670.
So we're just 400, we're about 400
Yeah, that
shy of them.
453.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
ARPA.
And we did
Okay.
get 40 from the mineral lease, so it's basically that whole, the
They bought a
parking lot,
gate.
453.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe a gate and a half.
about that.
That's what it was. They bought a gate because we have to actually put it underneath their
Yeah.
names,
Okay.
so. That would be my gist of it, was actually take it out of LAPTC funds so we can leave as much money for Darren to do the stuff that he needs to get done.
Do we need to do that in a public meeting though, correct?
Right, so we're getting your recommendation now. I'd rather do it the way you would like, and then I will
Come back next
schedule it.
Okay.
And do it properly.
Cool.
Are you, I know we still haven't buttoned it down. Are you all right for me to give them a letter to move forward with this? Because I want to lock in these numbers. I mean, I don't want to,
I'd like to lock in those numbers, but I would like to ask them straight up. I want you to contact them and say, if our county roads guys can do this, this, and this, like leveling the ground, if they could drill the holes, will that reduce our cost, and are you still willing to guarantee your project at the end?
Bring the fill.
Because, I mean, we have experts that can do this thing and do some of that for them that may reduce our costs. That's what we're trying to do with the Golden Spike thing we're doing out here.
Trying to do with
our
this,
building. So
everything.
I think it needs to be asked.
I
to be
can-
prudent tax-wise.
yeah, I can ask, and I'll have to get with Darren because his schedule, like all of his guys are out west. The
Sure.
scheduling with these contractors when they pull the trigger and when they get, I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to work because that totally makes sense to utilize the skills that we have. We did this parking lot out here with Perkins, and we can do that. So
Okay.
I can talk to them about that.
I
so.
think we need to talk to them and ask them because, or I want a contract in place that says that if they were gonna pay 1.6, they dang well stay on schedule, and if they come back and tell me they're not on schedule, we're gonna penalize them for it.
Absolutely. And
So
that,
it's gotta be one way or the other, but I'm not gonna say, well, because Darren and the guys won't be able to handle this or get with their schedule. I don't want the contractor giving me crap saying, well, I can't get it done under this time, because if I'm gonna pay you the full amount, you better get it done on time, and you better contract it if I'm gonna pay the full 1.6.
So one way or another, I think we've said it's okay to be able, we'll
But I
fund
think
it
we
one
can
way or
move
another.
forward, Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to at least follow up with that. I think
Yep.
that's important for us as a county.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Want to hand me those, the basket? 12:30, Maddox? Okay, got it.
You want me to read that? Bart?
He's only got one.
You can do that. Those who wishing to make a public comment shall sign in, commit, comment roll, responsible for the following outlined in the county commission rules and procedures. Speakers will have 1 3-minute opportunity to speak regardless of the number of items they have to address. Speakers shall address the comments to the commission only. This is the time to be heard. There will not be back and forth dialogue with the commission. Speakers may file copies of their remarks, supporting information with the county clerk, and the county clerk will make the information available to the county commission.
We only have one person that's asked to do a public comment. We have Deanna Hardy. You want to come up? Yep, I got it.
Deanna Hardy Brigham. There were 4 citizens, I being one of the 4, who came to audit the primary elections in 2022. The county clerk, Marla Young, told us that the state said we could only audit one box and which box we could look at. Is this not the fox, the state, guarding the hen house, the elections? The state has centralized the elections, and we need to take back our county sovereign power and decentralize our elections. We need to restore the sovereign elections power back to each municipality to run their own elections instead of the county running their elections for them. We need to be aware that the United Nations wants to do away with our local and state government and put us into a regional government. We have been incrementally moving in this direction with eliminating our right to have government work closely with the people. When I was a county delegate running for a state delegate position, I was eliminated after the first round of voting. Even though there were 3 of us from Bear River East Precinct, West Corinne had 2 citizens, and Harper Ward, I believe that was the other precinct's name, had only 1 citizen present. My husband asked who won the state delegate positions, and we told him none from the Bear River East Precinct. The 2 positions went to West Corinne. My husband knew that this was wrong, so he went to speak with former Republican Chairman Scott Erickson to request to see the paper ballots. Mr. Erickson told him no. My husband asked again, and Mr. Erickson responded a second time with a no answer. My husband then went to speak with former Representative Ben Ferry and told him the issue. Representative Ferry told Mr. Erickson that we needed to bring the ballots forward so that we could see them. Mr. Erickson complied, and presented the paper ballots which verified that I had been eliminated wrongfully. Without this audit, the corruption of this election would not have been revealed. On behalf of the Box Elder Committee of Liberty, we ask the Box Elder County Commissioners to declare nullification, which is the rightful remedy to any government usurpation, and restore the citizens' right to audit our county elections without state government interference. Thank you. I do have copies for each of you, but do you want me just to give them to the clerk, or do you want me just to submit one copy?
Just send them to the clerk and she'll distribute them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. That's all the public comments that were put in. So,
Okay, we don't have closed session, so, motion to adjourn? Oh, we need, wait, what, we need to sign.
Yep. Personnel action.
Hey, you got it.
Did you see that?
That's awesome.
I could hit a good stream.
Well, then you flipped it at me. That's
Oh, it was flying away and I hit it.
That'll be fun. All right. Well, thank
funny.
you.
I'll bet I couldn't do that again in 100 years.
well, you probably could, but you'd have to practice.
I used to do that all the time during dairy, you know? 100 days to kill a fly when you're dairy farming.
There we go.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.